And QuickBooks, great in so many ways, but you're just really limited on the data manipulation you can do. And so in order to do the strategic work, whether it's forecasts, projections, budgets, you've got to get the data out of QuickBooks. And so what we were doing is just spending an inordinate amount of time every month. And I was doing the CFO work back in the day. And so this was me and my team. You're exporting data out of QuickBooks, you're importing it into Excel or Google Sheets or whatever tool you decide to use. And then you're, redoing all your equations, you're validating everything in there, you're reformatting. And you get to a point where the blessing of having the focus and the scope of work has resulted in more clients, but more clients means that you're spending more time doing a lot of this tactical data manipulation and data analytics work. And I realized that my team can only handle so many CFO clients because they're spending so much time on this data work. And I said, I could go hire somebody to do this manually, but I don't want to add additional headcount to the team. It kind of kills my margins. Even if I, offshored the work, there's all kinds of inefficiencies that go along with that. Not to mention human error. That's the big one is, anybody can make a mistake with that. And you make one formulaic error and it throws off everything. And so there's single points of failure for all these things to go wrong, not to mention the increased cost.
All those reference errors.
All those reference errors.
Into reference, and you don't even know where it started. Yeah.
And so I said, we've got to solve for this because, when we sat down and tracked how much time Carlos and I were spending on just data manipulation, we realized we could handle 2 to 3 times more clients each if we weren't fooling with data every month. And so I went out on this search. I said, there's got to be something out there that allows us to seamlessly integrate QuickBooks with our data tool of choice. I know a lot of the FP&A people are going to get all super judgy out there,
sure,
but I don't care. I'm here for it. I like Google Sheets. For what we do, Google Sheets is great. And so I said, how do I connect the data inside of QuickBooks with Google Sheets? And that's
cloud. It's the cleanest cloud solution that there was.
It is, and emailing version 1, version 2, final, back and forth, just didn't make sense. So Google Sheets is great for us. It's easy to share with our clients, but I said that this is a multiple 6-figure problem for me, because for us a CFO client's worth $5K plus a month, and so if I said I can increase one CFO from being able to handle 5 clients a month to 10 or 12. That's a multiple $100,000 to pushing $1 million problem.
Sure.
And so I said, I want to solve this. And
want to leverage their time.
Exactly. Getting the most out of their time, the highest value out of their time. And plus the fractional CFOs, the folks that are the industry leaders, they don't want to be spending their time screwing with reference errors.
Yeah.
That's not where their passion is. And so, there's all kinds of personal and business reasons to solve that problem.
Yeah. So what was the solution then?
Well, drum roll, please.
Yeah.
So a bit of Googling, and I come across G-Accon. And I'm looking at their website, and it says seamlessly connect QuickBooks to Google Sheets. And it's 100% customizable. And it's, for the low price of, tens of dollars a month.
Yeah, it's not that much.
No, it's ridiculous. And at first I'm skeptical, right? There's no way I can solve this problem. There's got to be something to this. There's always a catch, what you guys want to do, it won't work. It only works if you pull in these standardized reports. We can pull in a standardized P&L or a standardized balance sheet, and we don't do anything crazy, but we have our own internal templates and reports that we use that have our branding on them and our fonts and our color preferences and all those kind of things in a certain way that we like to display it, both in terms of data with numbers, but also charts and graphs. And so I'm looking, I'm like, I don't know, are they going to be able to do this? And so we did the trial and we made some pretty good progress with it, but there were a couple things that we couldn't quite figure out, Scott. And so I emailed support and told them, hey, this is what we've been able to do. This is what we're trying to do. Is there a way to do this? And their support blows me away. I mean, the response was nearly immediate. And they're like, oh yeah, it's absolutely possible. And they walked us through those last couple of steps to have our fully customized CFO reports inside of our dashboards with data that's real-time updated. It's two-way data communications between QuickBooks and Google Sheets. And I think the term like game changer is overused or
Sure.
misused or overused, but it literally was for us because this one simple platform that's like 10, $20 a month
Yeah.
has now solved this problem. We were spending a little over 40 hours a month on manual data importing, exporting, and manipulation. And within a few hours of playing with G-Accon, that problem was eliminated.
And then it's eliminated across clients too, because you create one template that you can use across multiple clients. You can connect somebody that has 3 businesses. You can connect one sheet with all 3 of their business data.
It's one of the interesting things that I've learned in my journey as a fractional CFO firm owner. The bigger clients you work with, they typically have multiple entities, and if they'll have the holding company and then a couple of operating companies and then the management company, all the different things that we set up for tax purposes. And a lot of times they want to see the roll up. They want to see the roll down. They want to see this. And so G-Accon allows you to do that with
Consolidate.
Yeah, the consolidation for the roll-ups is ridiculous. And like you said, you set the template up one time and then you just copy and paste it across. And
not that you're messing with this, but even if they had one business in Xero and businesses in QuickBooks, you could still export it all into one sheet and connect it all to one sheet. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And so we've eliminated each of the problems. So problem 1 was 40 hours a month per CFO with the data manipulation. We've also got the issue of just human error that gets involved in that process. And then another thing that I think is really important that a lot of times we underestimate the value of is the consistency in what we do, right? Just from the client's perspective, to have that consistent deliverable every single month, it really does elevate the perception of the value of the brand. And we were able to eliminate all of that with one platform. And that's why we've been with them for years.
Yeah. Well, brand is so powerful, keeping that. And that's what we're going to also talk about today too. But I love this. So G-Accon, for anybody listening, check them out. It's acon.services. There's so many things you can do with it because we didn't even talk about the second part of the sync is you can upload a bunch of data into your sheet or pull it from one place, manipulate it a little bit, and then push it into QuickBooks too, which is a whole third aspect of this, solving a different problem.
There's so many different uses, especially if you're offering accounting services as well, where you want to manipulate data outside of QuickBooks because let's be honest, it's easier in a lot of cases. You can view it different ways. And so you can make a lot of those changes right in Google Sheets and it's automatically going to push them back into QuickBooks. I think the best use case I've seen of that is those Ask My Accountant items, where you get a list for your clients. They tell you what category they go into. Normally, you'd have to take that list, go back into QuickBooks, update everything based on the client feedback. You can connect your chart of accounts right to your client dashboard in Google Sheets, make those updates, and it's going to automatically push those chart of accounts updates back in so you don't have to go back and manually do it and double the work.
That's incredible. So not only is it great for the CFO forecasting, reports, dashboards, and manipulation of that aspect of the data, the viewing of the data, but also on the back end, manipulating it and getting it in there so it is correct. So your reports look legit and they're correct. So it works hand in hand in different aspects of it on the back end and on the front end too.
I'm a big fan of simplicity, Scott. I talked a lot to my audience about simplicity in the firm, and I think that I'm very protective of the platforms that I add to my firm. I mean, 7-figure firm, we don't use a lot in the way of technology, right? Because of the simplicity. And so, my tech stack is literally Carbon, Ignition, G-Accon.
Oh, wow.
That's it. That's what we use, and then the Google suite of things as well. I mean, that's it. That's everything it takes to run a 7-figure firm. And so I'm like, this is worth its weight in gold. If you want to get beyond having 1 or 2 clients even if you don't want to grow a team, you got to check out G-Accon. It's just it's a no-brainer.
No brainer. Yeah. Well, that sounds just like our tech stack at our firm. Carbon, Ignition, and because we're zero, we start to use G-Accon too for different things, more of the accountant side.